happening, people? It'll be good. We're just going live on Instagram, so please bear with me. Instagram being a pain in the arse again. Seems like you need to try and go live, then close it down, and then go live again before it actually lets you go live. Bloody technology. Right, looks like we are sorted. Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. What is happening, team? I hope you're good. If you're watching this on the replay, please give me a hashtag replay so I know you're watching this on the replay. Pretty self-explanatory. And we will give it a couple of minutes, and then we will get rolling with it. We'll get into it. So I'm pretty excited to do this episode because I think it's going to be fun for you guys. I think it's going to be a good episode, and I just want to kind of get you guys thinking in this episode. I want to get you guys thinking. So yeah, we will get into the nitty-gritty of it when we get started. We'll give it another minute, let some people jump on, and then we will get going. Someone just know that you can hear me, you can see me okay. Leave me an emoji in the comments. If you're watching this on the replay, as I said before, give me a hashtag replay. I will say, guys that aren't watching this on YouTube, so Instagram, Facebook, head over to YouTube and type in Type 1 Tom and go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, because I'm going to be trying to grow that channel throughout this year into next year. I'm putting a lot of content on it for you guys. So, right. Shall we hit record and we will get into it? Okie doke. 3, 2, 1. Yo, yes, welcome to another episode. I don't know why I said yo then yes. I should have picked fucking one or the other, shouldn't I? Welcome to another episode of the Title Movement Podcast. So in today's episode, I'm quite excited. I was just saying to the guys on the live before, I'm quite excited about this one because I've labeled it, what is the end goal of our diabetes management? But this is going to be, I'm going to give you some informative stuff, but also, so do get a pen and paper, take some notes, but I'm going to get you to just fucking think. I want you to start thinking from this one, yeah? But before we get into it, as always, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more Type 1s and positively impact our community. That is my goal at the end of the day, delivering this content to you guys and helping you out the best that I can. Also, screenshot and share this on your Instagram stories and tag me at Type1_Tom. Now, I was just saying to the guys then on the live, I'm currently trying to grow my YouTube channel, so you can head over to YouTube, type in Type1Tom, and you'll be able to find me on there. So throughout this year and into next year, I'm going to be just piling loads more content on there. I might start doing some vlogging and stuff, just because I think it's going to be super informative for you guys, as well as these podcasts, as well as my normal posts. So let's get into this. Like, what is the end goal with our diabetes management? Now, I think people like Type 1s usually struggle with their control, and you can take this for any goal. You know, when I like to speak about being a Type 1, having good glucose control, it relates so much to goals in life and stuff like that. And I think a lot of Type 1s struggle with the control and struggle to achieve any goal for two reasons. And I know I'm going to get some head nods on this. 2 reasons. The first one is they can't clearly define what the end goal is, and it's not numbers. Look, it's not a good HbA1c. It's not time in target range, like 70% or above. It's not a good average. They're numbers. That's not something that you hold out on happiness for. That's not the end goal. Yeah, that's not the end goal. It's just data. It's just a reflection of how you're getting to that, which is what I want to get into shortly. But that's not the end goal. I want you to understand that. They're just numbers. So the first thing is they can't clearly define what the end goal is. And the second thing is, because they can't clearly define what the end goal is, there's no fucking pathway to get there. There's no pathway. There's no in between. If you don't really know what you want, yeah, you're not crystal clear in it, how can you create a plan and a pathway to get you to that goal? You can't. And this goes for any goal, not just improving your blood glucose. It could go for any single goal, anything you want to achieve. You need to know crystal clear what it is, yeah, so you can fucking develop a solid plan to get you there. And this is what I want to go on about in this. Now, this is something I always say to my clients. And I never really speak about my own personal glucose control, but I want to use myself as an example in this. I say to my clients, I'm going to say it to you guys, if you could see how I manage my diabetes, you would say you're fucking winging it, mate. It looks like I am winging it. I'm just going through my day, doing this, that, and the other, cracking on with it. It looks like I'm just fucking winging it. Yeah. Now, what I'm going to go on about in this is my personal opinions and something that a lot of my clients agree with, because it's kind of what I built my program around. And these are my thoughts, my personal opinions. The end goal for you might be completely different. That's fine. But this is what I think that makes me happy, and my personal opinions, and I think will make a lot of type 1s happy. So if you can see me managing my diabetes, it would seem like I'm winging it. Yeah, but that shit works because my current stats as it sits, my A1C always stays between 5.3 to 5.5%. Currently, my 30-day average is 6.7. This is in Malta in the UK. And my timing target range over 30 days is 80%. Pretty fucking good stats, right? And to say that I kind of wing it, well, I do wing it. That's great. But this is kind of how I go about managing my diabetes. And a lot of my successful clients and people who complete my program are at this stage now. This is where I like to get all my clients to. Now, my decisions are made on autopilot. So one of the biggest things that I get when I speak to other type 1s is that they say to me, and they're like, it's taking up so much energy. It's fucking draining me. It's frustrating and it's overwhelming because it's taking up so much energy. So where I'm at with my management now and where my most successful clients are at is our decisions are made on autopilot. It just happens. Quick decisions. Another thing is I trust my gut. I trust my gut to make these decisions, yeah? Another thing is it takes me minimal mental energy in making these decisions to manage my glucose level, to manage my diabetes. And the other thing is I'm not constantly thinking about it. Now, because I get feedback from other type 1s, these are some of the most frustrating things that they tell me that's really getting them down. Like they feel like they're struggling to make decisions, they're not trusting the gut. It's taking up so much mental energy and they're thinking about it all the time. Yeah. Now, for me personally, I'm in a really, really happy place with being able to make decisions on autopilot, trusting my gut, minimal energy, and I'm not constantly thinking about it. Yes, I do obviously think about it, but I'm not constantly thinking about it. Now, I'm using myself as an example, but this is what my most successful clients have achieved from my program. This is where they've got to. And for me, like I'm open to opinions on this, but for me, it's about being happy at the end of the day. And it's about having great glucose control, diabetes management, living a healthy, fulfilled life in a way that's making you happy. Yeah. And those sort of points that I spoke about is kind of how I view having good control and being happy whilst managing it. Yeah. Because it can bog us down. I'm not saying that I don't get times where I'm like, fucking hell, this is a lot. Yes, I do. I'm a type 1. I think some of you guys forget just because I'm a type 1 coach doesn't mean I am not like you. I am just the same as you. I've been through, go through, and probably will still continue to go through the same struggles as you guys when it comes to being a type 1. But the majority of the time, I am happy with how I manage my diabetes and so are my clients. Now, like I say, this is where my clients get to via my program. But you're probably asking yourself, oh, Tom, that's great. You're making decisions on autopilot. You're trusting your gut. It's taking up minimal mental energy so I can focus on the rest of my life. And I'm not constantly having to think about it. Now, you're probably thinking, that's fucking awesome, Tom, but how do we do that? How do you get to this point? This is what I'm going to tell you now. So I told you, a pen and paper at the start, team. Take some notes on this. The first thing is, make sure you do write this down because this underpins everything. This underpins fucking everything. You need to understand all the work you put in now, all the work you put in now will pay off in the future. That goes for anything. That goes for anything. You put the work in now, you reap the rewards in the future. Yes, I have some of my clients who put the work in now, they get rewards straight away, improve timing target, like a better average, but it's still taking up a lot of mental energy. It's still a big, huge part of their life. So I'm saying, understand all the work you dedicate to managing your diabetes now will pay off in the future. You need to play the long game. You need to play the long game in this. Yeah, so that's the first thing. The second thing is the most important thing about being a type 1 diabetic and having great diabetes management is education. Understand about the condition, understand the different types of insulin, how it works. Just educate yourself. But you know what the good thing is? If you want to educate yourself and you're listening to my podcast, you're fucking doing it already. Yeah. So I've got a few things on how you can educate yourself. Podcast. If you are here listening to this, take that as a fucking win. Pat yourself on the back because it shows that you give a fuck and you're looking to educate yourself around this condition and being a fucking better type 1 at the end of the day. So the first thing is podcasts. The second thing is books. Read books. There's a great book called Think Like a Pancreas. I've read a lot of diabetic books, but that is my favorite. It's something I recommend to all my clients. So Think Like a Pancreas, that's a great book. Another thing is network and community. Go and chat to other type 1s, network with them, get yourself in a community. That's going to give you education because we are all different. Even though we got the same condition, we're different. So if you can see how someone's managing certain things, maybe you can educate yourself and take some inspiration or motivation from that. So education is the second thing. So podcast, books, network, community, speak to other type 1s. The third thing is tests, and fucking more tests. Tests, and more tests. Now, the things that I'm giving you here are what I spent my first, I'd say 3 to 4 years, and I still go over now, 3 to 4 years of, not that it's going to take you guys that long, but this is how I built my program, how I created my program, why it's so successful, because I spent 3 to 4 years doing all these things that I am telling you now. This is how I've got myself to the place where my decisions are on autopilot, I'm trusting my gut, takes up minimal mental energy, I'm not constantly thinking about it, and how I get all my clients there. This is what I'm telling you. These are the basics. So tests, and fucking more tests. We know as type 1s we're going to have to test. So what do we test? Our basal or background insulin, our insulin to carb ratio, and our pre-bolus timing. They're the 3 main things, team. If you take nothing from that, just be willing to test. The more that you do these tests, the more you're going to get used to what will happen, and the more you're going to be able to trust your gut and make decisions on autopilot, which is going to take minimal energy. Yes, at first, all of these points will take up a lot of your mental energy. They will. But like I said, you're in it for the long game. Understand this work that you're putting in now will pay off in the future when it's not taking up so much mental energy. That's a fucking key point. So the third thing was tests, and fucking more tests. I still run tests now, but they're just easier because I understand it more, because I've run that fucking many. The fourth thing, this is the big one, fourth thing, track your fucking food. I say this time and time again. I'll tell you what, if I had £1 or $1 for every time I said track your food on one of my podcasts or in my fucking social media posts, I would be a very, very rich man. Track your food. I love an app like MyFitnessPal, but there is several others out there. Why do I want you to track your food? First of all, so you know your intake. Second of all, it's going to help you count carbs, count proteins, and count fats. Yes, protein and fats have an impact on glucose levels as well, as I've told you all time and time again. But it's going to help you with that count of the meal. It's going to help you. It's also going to educate you. This is a big one, and this is something I say to all my clients. Take this now. Tracking your food for, let's say, consistently for 6 months, 3 to 6 months consistently. And if it goes in your mouth, you track. Yeah. Doing that will teach you more about nutrition than you will get from doing a fucking degree in nutrition. Honestly, it will. It will open your eyes so much more, especially as a type 1 diabetic. Tracking your food is going to educate you so much on nutrition and macronutrients and calories and how they impact your blood glucose levels. Also, look, I don't track my food anymore. If I'm deciding to lose a bit of body fat, I might do, but I don't track anymore. And I've just told you how my glucose level is. I've got clients that have been on my program. They completed my initial 12 weeks. They've been on that and they're not tracking anymore. And like I say, it seems like they're winging it, but they're not, because they put the work in up front and they're still achieving great control. And why is that? That's because once you start tracking food consistently, eventually you will be able to look at a meal and be able to say, right, I know there's roughly this amount of carbs in that, this amount of protein in that, this amount of fat in that. That's what I can do with a meal now. That's what a lot of my clients can do. That's what I want you to be able to do. That's a very powerful position to be in. But you can only get there from tracking and seeing those figures and weighing. Obviously, if you're tracking food, you're going to have to be fucking weighing as well. Yeah. So that's another thing. The next thing, what we're on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I love this one. This is why I put it in there. Try different things, man. Fucking try different things, mate. If you achieve great control through being so strict and so structured, what do you think will happen when life gets in the way a little bit. You go and try something that you've not tried before. You go and eat out, you do a different sort of exercise. And you're like, oh, fucking hell, I'm so scared to do this because I don't know what's going to happen. I know I've been there, but you need to be willing to try different things because it's going to teach you a lot of stuff. So different ways of eating, different exercises, whatever it is, try different shit, mate. Yeah, it's going to teach you a lot. And the final thing, which I did do consistently, and I get all my clients to do, we have like special documents for this. This is one of the most crucial things, to be honest. And this is take notes and log things. Take notes and log things. I've told you about tracking your food. When you're running tests on your basal rate or insulin to carb ratio, take notes, write shit down. Yeah, when you go and exercise, write shit down, take notes. Take notes to refer back to. Take notes to refer back to. You will do this. I did this for probably the first 3 years of my diagnosis. I took so many notes and I referred back to them like most of the time when I was looking back through. Yeah, and it's something that I've built my program off and I get my clients to do. Take notes, log things so you can refer back to it because you might think you're going to remember, but trust me, you fucking won't. And you're like, shit, I wish I would have written that down. Yeah, so take notes. So I'm going to go over these things again. Yeah. And this is for me personally and my clients. We want to get the end goal of, obviously, it's not an end goal because we're always going to have this condition, but the end goal is to be happy with how you're managing your diabetes. It's not having a certain HbA1c number. It's not having a certain time in range or an average, because if you achieve those numbers and it's still taking up so much of your energy and making your life unhappy, what's the fucking point? So for me, you can argue against it, but for me, a lot of my clients, managing your diabetes by kind of like winging it because you put the work in now is so important. And like I say, that comes from just making decisions on autopilot, trusting your gut, taking up minimal mental energy in your life and not constantly thinking about it. But to get to that point, this is another thing I see a lot of type 1s do. They want to get to that point, but they've not put the fucking work in up front. I've just told you, understand the work you put in now is going to pay off in the future. You can't miss that. It's a vital point. Get fucking dialed down. And I basically got obsessive with it. I'm an obsessive fucking bastard. When I dial in on something, I just fucking go to town. I'll learn as much as possible and take full charge of it, yeah? Or research it. This is kind of what you have to do if you want to have great control of your diabetes and it not taking over your life. But first, it's got to be a fucking priority. Yeah, it's got to be a priority. So I'll go over those things again. Like I said before, understand the work you put in now will pay off in the future. You need to put the groundwork in first to reap the rewards later on, and it become automatic and habitually just going through your day, managing that shit. Play the long game. Play it for the long game. Education, podcasts, books, networking, community, chatting to other type 1s. The next thing, tests, and fucking more tests. What do you need to test? Well, your basal, your background insulin, your insulin to carb ratio, and your pre-bolus timers are the three main ones. Next thing, track your food. I love my FitnessPal app, but there's a lot out there. Track your food. It will educate you so much on nutrition. Try different things. If you're a one-trick pony, you're stuck in a certain routine. Yes, routine is great for managing glucose levels, but what happens when you break it? So purposely go and break it. Go and try different shit. Educate yourself more. Go and live your life. Learn different stuff. And the last thing is take notes. Log shit to refer back to. Guys, that is it. If you got value from this episode, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app. As I said at the start, it really just helped me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Because I think this is going to be a crucial episode, because I've spoken to type 1s before that have got great control and they're like, but I'm fucking unhappy, man. It's taking up so much energy. It's just basically fucking draining me each day. I'm stuck in my little routine, but I do have great control. So we want to keep this great control, but do so in a way that's not taking over your life. And if you start with those pointers that I mentioned in this episode, yeah, hopefully taking fucking notes, start with those pointers that I mentioned in this episode, and that will come. I can guarantee it. We've done it time and time again in my program. Shameless little plug as well. If you do want my help with any of these and to have a chat with me, see if I can help you, see if you'd be a good fit to work with me, to join my program, DM me with the word BG for blood glucose, and I'll have a chat and I'll see where you're at and if I can help you. Team, that is it. Thank you very much for listening to this episode today. Until the next episode, have a great day. Peace. What's happening, gang? I hope we're good. Do we have any questions? I'm going to give it 30 seconds before we jump off, because I have got a weekly workshop with my clients in 30 minutes. So So we're going to have a quick look through. Thanks, everyone, for jumping on watching this live. Hey, Romeo, hope you're good. Got a few emojis. What the fuck are emojis? Right, team. That's it. I'm going to jump off. Thank you very much for watching this live. As always, until the next live, peace.